Okay guys, I'm going to try something different. This is going to be a pretty long video for the people that's interested in weather technology. This is a supposedly next-rad Doppler radar system, but they're housing different kinds of equipment. I've seen radars. This looks more like a heater. HAARP device, a weather making device. I'm about to show you one in Dallas being used to create a storm in Dallas, Texas. Stand by. This is that machine being used. This is it over here in this corner. This is it without the infrared on or whatever the guy's using here. This is that machine turned on. Watch the storm develop. You can see the waves. Look at the waves in it. That's the machine turned on. It mellowed out as soon as it got what it wanted. Very extreme weather technology I'm about to show y'all today. Please stand by. Videos going back to 1959 describing all this technology they're using today. This is nothing new. They're coming out with it like it's brand new technology. Spraying the skies, they've been doing it since the 60s. Stand by. I'm going to show you video from today of this machines working, and there's also satellites taking place, airplanes spraying the material that these machines work with. Lots of information guys, stand by. Next-rad radar systems are on a lot of ships. I call these hurricane makers. I think that's how they create the weather system that I see formed, like some of the hurricanes are being created and controlled. I know it sounds crazy, it's science fiction, but it's not, it's science fact. More to come. These next-rad systems are so-called radar defense systems, but I don't think they're necessary for that. This thing here is self-propelled. There is no tugs towing this machine. Hurricane makers, in my opinion. I'm going to show y'all some of the machines turned on. I really believe that our cell phone towers that's been really amped up after the pandemic started are part of their HAARP system they created in Alaska for testing. Full deployment of their system now. We're about to see it in action. Here's windy.com. They call these gravity waves, but they're not natural. It's the machine turned on. And you could say it's a glitch from Windy, but let's go to NOAA and see what it says. It's showing the same waves in NOAA. This is from their website. This is from today. These are not gravity waves. It's their machine. See how it stays the same as the clouds pass over. You can see a tight one being used here in Georgia. Look at that. And it's just pushing this weather system offshore. That's why it's being used. You can see it really working the storm on offshore so they can bring in the next one. We're not supposed to be having winter at the same time Australia's having their winter. And my friends down there tells me they see the same technology being used as well. Check out this loop of their technology. Check out that. Does that look normal to y'all guys? Look at the storm being built. This thing's not natural. That's being built. They're going to create hurricanes this year, and they're going to call it climate change. They want to steal your batteries, steal your gas guzzling cars for their batteries that is going to destroy the world if you really try to think how it's made and how they're disposed of. Solar power is not going to work, not when they cloud us out. Look at all the HAARP waves. This is not natural, guys. Not natural at all. This is what it looks like when you're on the ground looking up. You can see waves going 2 different directions. Look at it, happens to be a cell phone tower right there. But look at the waves in different directions. That cannot be gravity waves. It's just a lady in Florida just showing the weird sky. Here's a film from 1959 describing everything we've seen. Eyes in Outer Space. Science factual film. Walt Disney did a lot of propaganda films. And this is about the weather. It's 30 minutes long. The first 15 minutes describes what weather is. The last 15 minutes describes all the technology I am seeing today used to control weather, not protect us from hurricanes like this video presents itself as helpful. Look who it's made with. Department of Defense, Army, Navy, Air Force, Army Signal Research and Development Laboratory. Wonder what Army Signal Research is. I'm going to bump it up a little bit because the first little bit's just describing weather.
Directions, and as countless give an indication of wet and dry periods. The vast unexplored and rockets launched from the ground carry instruments higher and higher. Unfortunately, these flights last but a short time, and only a small amount of information can be obtained. But now we have more advanced scientific devices for gathering data continuously over long periods of time, not only from the atmosphere, but from space beyond. Artificial satellites.
1959, hard to believe they really knew what they were going to do. I'm going to bump it up a little bit more.
Satellite is a photocell. Satellites might be used in future operations from a worldwide weather center.
1959, guys.
Electronic maps and view screens display up-to-the-minute pictures of the weather around the Earth.
They have that with no problem.
Every hour, reports are automatically received from all points at sea, on land, and in the air. 22,000 miles out in space, 3 robot satellites train their sensitive television eyes on all parts of the Earth. These pictures are monitored on
It's a little bit more than I want to share with y'all guys just because of the time here, but it even describes the airplanes in the sky and the cell phone towers on the ground. I mean, there's a lot to it. I was trying to get to where they showed the airplanes and rockets and stuff, but they're trying to stop a hurricane, which they create them. I can prove that too.
Cloud seeding rockets just ahead of the hurricane, hoping to start it moving. The hurricane begins to shift. All available forces have been brought into play. Now we can only watch and wait.
Pretty dramatic. They show all the technology being used today in this film, guys, if y'all watch it.
The high-pressure ridge has settled along the coast, forming an invisible wall of safety. The control strategy is successful. At last, the high-pressure ridge has settled along the coast, forming an invisible wall of safety.
What's bad, I got video of them bouncing them off. Here, I'll show you. Alright, this is from Geoengineering Watch.
Is our weather and our climate being
NEXRAD being turned on to control the hurricanes.
Decide for yourself.
Is what these
Frequency
are.
transmission manipulation of hurricanes
This
are patented
NEXRAD,
processes.
watch,
The
turn on,
technology is not new.
it'll push the eye out.
Patents,
They can
numbers
actually
into
wipe it
hundreds
out
and continues
if they wanted to.
grow. This is Hurricane Ian, passing near the NEXRAD transmission facility in Key West, Florida. When the transmission facilities are fully energized, they have a repelling effect on any air mass that has been saturated with electrically conductive climate engineering elements. Patents call for such seeding into storms to be carried out from above by jet aircraft. The NEXRAD transmission network then interacts with the storm air mass, determining where a storm will migrate and where it won't. As Hurricane Ian is allowed to make landfall, the frequency transmission facility in Melbourne, Florida is fully engaged. This effectively slows Ian's migration inland. The transmissions can diminish precipitation in some regions while augmenting it in others.
It lays the predicate the foundation for the development of the weather satellite that will permit man to determine the world's cloud layer and ultimately to control the weather, and he who controls the weather will control the world.
Okay guys, that's about all I'm going to do for my first one I've ever spoken into like this. They are controlling the weather, and I know that only a few % of the people finish the videos, but I think y'all, skies are no longer ours. The air is no longer safe to breathe. All my fish are dying in the Gulf of Mexico. I wish I could just say it's red tide, but we don't have red tide in the winter. It's not natural as well. Take care.